Hi, you're with India Post Live, India's first online news conversation web TV. I'm Ishan Russell, and India Post Live is, of course, a forum for you to come in and participate. Use social media to get in touch with us. Twitter, on Twitter, you can use the hashtag India Post Live to your tweets, or you can use our Twitter handle at India Post Live. Just attach that to your tweets, and of course, they'll come to us. Also, you can use Facebook to get in touch with us. We have a Facebook page called India Post Live. You can go ahead, like it, post comments or pictures over there, and also you can go to indiapostlive.com where you can watch this live right now. And in case you're watching this later, well, there are so many other videos over there on various topics for you to watch as well, and a wall to comment upon. So go ahead, comment over there, and in case you want to participate and be the expert, you're most welcome to do so. Just send us a request and we'll for sure get your voice heard, and you can come in via Skype or Google Hangout from the comfort of your home. So you can literally be the expert over here. All right, the issue that we're talking about today is an issue that involves a dress code, and a dress code in clubs. What is that? Well, we've put a story together, so let's let the story do the talking.
The Tamil Nadu Cricket Association Club has kicked off a controversy by not allowing a Madras High Court judge into the premises for the dress code violation. The judge was wearing a dhoti and was disallowed because wearing a dhoti could lead to wardrobe malfunction. This has the political class up in arms, as leader after leader has condemned the club for sticking to the rules from the erstwhile British Raj. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha has gone to the extent of saying she will not think twice before cancelling the licenses of such clubs. But the clubs have the right to refuse entry if it doesn't conform to their rule book, while others have criticized the authoritarian manner in which the Indian politicians think and rule.
All right, so is it the personal purview of politicians? Is it an ego tussle that is going on, or is it a larger issue of do we have a colonial hangover? We will try to discuss all that with Surendran Nambiat. He's a digital consultant at Winsoft Digital Media Private Limited. Thank you very much for coming in, Surendran. Also, we have with us Dhanya Ranjendran. She's the managing editor of the News Minute, a popular TV face. Dhanya, thanks very much for coming in. She joins us live from Bangalore. I'll start with you. I mean, how big is this issue? Is it something that and the reason that we're talking about it is because politicians have jumped into the fray, and is it expected to become a major political issue in South India?
Right. Sporadically, the issue of clubs having dress codes have come up. It's come up in Chennai. It's come up in Bangalore. There have been times when when politicians have insisted that clubs should not have rules that discriminate against attire, and also when it comes to membership, some of the clubs, for example, in Bangalore, do not give membership to politicians. So there have been issues regarding that too. Now, in this case, of course, this entire thing went out of proportion, considering the person who was denied entry was a sitting judge of the Madras High Court. And this, in fact, ironically, the second time that an incident is happening with a judge. In the 1980s, Supreme Court Justice P.R. Krishna Iyer was also denied entry. So then all the politicians really took up the issue, the DMK, the MDMK and the others, bringing in the Tamil pride issue and saying that the clubs should not have this kind of a code restricting any other attire. And I think with the Tamil Nadu government now making it stand clear, the clubs will also have to toe the line of the government.
All right, but Surendran, you're wearing a veshti right now. That's a form of a dhoti for you from North India. But it's a trend across the board. I mean, I was at the Jasola Sports Club in New Delhi today, and I was reading on the notice board that you cannot wear a kurta pajama and sandals also over there. So in terms of a dress code, it's there for some time now for all these clubs. So have you personally experienced any kind of discrimination? Do you think it's discriminatory?
Well, no. But then I used to be careful. Like if I were to go to the British Council, I would not go wearing a dhoti. But Ishan, I beg to differ here. The situation here is different. This eminent judge has been called as a guest over there. He's not a common visitor. As far as guests are concerned, you leave the choice of dress to the guest. There is no dress code per se for a guest. It can apply to members, fine, it's all right. You cannot come in Bermudas, you cannot come in bikinis, it's fine. But when you call a guest, you expect him to dress at his best, the way he feels comfortable. That's my point of view.
All right, but also, do you think that politicians have hijacked the issue, trying to make it? I mean, there is another issue about Sanskrit being forced down South India's throat. So, I mean, by the NDA government, that DMK is up in arms over that. Yeah. So, as far as the North-South divide is concerned, do you think the politicians are milking this issue?
Yes, I would certainly think so, because all the politicians, and rightly so, I would say in this case at least, and not otherwise, but in this case at least, all the political parties cutting across beliefs, political beliefs, they seem to have united on this issue that a dress code should not apply when you are a visitor, and especially when the dress is not something foreign. It is part of our culture, our varied culture.
Okay.
So I would go with them on this.
All right, but Dhania, this North-South divide that suddenly seems to have come in with the Indian part, the DMK protesting over the fact that they're saying that Sanskrit's being forced down people's throat, and the dhoti issue has come up. Do you think this kind of a North-South divide is something that the parties, especially in the south of India, could be milking for their own purposes?
No, I don't think there's a north-south divide here, because even if a North Indian comes in his pajamas, they're not going to allow them inside. For example, the clubs here are very strict. If you don't wear closed shoes, if you wear like a kurta, you're not allowed inside the clubs. See, the members sign up for these clubs knowing that these are the archaic rules in the clubs. I can tell you one particular club in Bangalore where for the interview for the club's membership, which could take like 10 years of waiting list, you go for the interview, the husband and wife are standing for the membership card. The spouse is not allowed to speak unless spoken to. And the questions are asked only to the husband. I mean, I think the rules are not just about attire, it's completely sexist also. And most of these clubs get away doing all these things because membership of these clubs are considered like a VIP endorsement in some way. In this case, of course, it became a huge problem because, like the other guest said, it was an eminent, it was a judge of the, a sitting judge of the Madras High Court who was not allowed to go, and he is not a member of the club. He's a guest who's got an invite. People who sign up for the club's membership, they can follow whatever rules. They have signed up for these archaic rules. But how can you impose those on guests who are coming on your own invite? That's the whole problem here. Of course, political parties will talk about anything. In fact, I don't even understand why the Tamil Nadu Assembly should have discussed this as if this was a big problem plaguing Tamil Nadu. There is no power crisis. There is no other issue in the state. The Assembly has to come out and speak about clubs. That, of course, is misplaced priorities. But yes, clubs need to rethink about archaic rules. In fact, we had an interview on the News Minute with Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer, who said, let's be dhoti proud. Same thing, let's be salwar kameez, sari or pajama proud. Why are women allowed inside these clubs? Women who wear salwar kameez or saris allowed inside these clubs, men are not. So, some of these rules don't make any sense at all.
All right, but as far as revisit is concerned, does it fall upon the government to, what would you say, is it the government role to interfere, or should clubs by themselves perhaps revisit these archaic rules as you've been suggesting?
Well, that's really a two-edged sword here. Like I said, there have sometimes been instances where politicians, political parties and governments have started revolting against the clubs because they want more access to the clubs. For example, in Bangalore, I know 2 clubs which do not give membership to politicians. So whenever there's a controversy, everyone is up in arms because they see it as a backdoor entry to somehow blackmail the clubs. The other issue is some of the clubs, including the Tamil Nadu Cricket Association's club, which is the one in the controversy now, they are situated on lands which are given on concession by the government. So that is one thing which the government is saying that, look, when you are on our land, when we have given it to you on concession, we also have a certain stake, or we at least have some say. So these are like really grey areas. Maybe technically, even legally, I think there was an article yesterday written by one of the retired judges from Madras High Court saying, legally the government cannot interfere in functioning of the private club. Now, of course, under pressure, the club can say, yes, we will change the rules, like N. Srinivasan came out and said yesterday. But legally, I don't think the government can really interfere. It's just the pressure they put because the club has to coexist in an environment where the political parties are quite strong.
All right, but Surendran, as far as the Veshti is concerned, or the dhoti is concerned, I mean, for viewers who are not familiar with it, how integral is it a part? Is it just a festival wear, or is it worn in everyday life?
Well, let me put it this way, Ishan. My father, for example, he started off work when he was in his mid-20s. He used to wear a dhoti to his office. That was considered the right, and he was not working for some small company. He was working for the Planning Commission of India, of course at a very junior level. And dhoti was considered very much fine. Some of his other friends would also come in dhotis. Lots of them would come in dhotis. As time progressed, fashions changed, the way you dress changed. And then later on, by the end of his career, when he retired in 1988, he used to wear a suit or he used to wear a safari, which is fine. But he's comfortable with both. And I believe that each region of India, in fact each region of the world, has certain dress codes which are dependent on a lot of factors, on the climate, for example, on the culture, on the festivals, perhaps even on what you eat, and what you don't eat, but on all these things. So for a country, for a state like Kerala, which is hot and humid, a dhoti is the best thing.
And so the same
yes.
case across most of South India, even Tamil Nadu,
Exactly,
for example.
and that would also apply to UP, where pajamas, or Bihar, where lungis are worn. It's because it's hot and extremely hot. May not be humid, but it's hot.
All right.
There, the pajama is comfortable.
All right, so nobody will be forced to wear pants. Final question to you, Danya. As far as public sentiment on this issue goes, how's public sentiment? Are people really bothered about it? And do you think this issue could snowball into something larger, or what has to be done has already been done?
The public always, I think, goes along with sentiments of native attire, language, local language. They also feel as agitated as the politicians, I guess. Otherwise, why would a Sri Lanka issue always snowball in Tamil Nadu? So even in this, when a club says we will not allow someone with a dhoti, it's only understandable that the public also feels, why should this club not be allowing an Indian attire? So that kind of sentiment always exists. And that was always there even before this issue with the judge happened. And let's not also forget that it was not just the judge, but two more invitees along with the judge who was stopped by the club. So that public sentiment plus the political, the issue taken up by the politicians, I think the entire thing has now forced the Tamil Nadu Cricket Association to come forward and say that we will change the rules. But what remains to be seen really in the story is that will this have a ripple effect in clubs across the country, or at least in South India, considering almost every single club in India, and especially in South India, do have these rules.
All right, so whether a trickle-down effect will happen or not, or whether perhaps time will tell, as the cliche goes, or you can effect a change if you want. You can tweet out to us. You can use Facebook to get in touch with us, and use comments on our wall on India Post Live to tell us what you think about the issue. We'll wrap this conversation up. Thank you very much, Danya, for joining us and sharing your perspective from Bangalore. Also, Surendran, it was a pleasure having you in the studio as well.
Thank you, Shan.
So that's it on our little presentation on dhotis, veshtis, lungis, whatever you might want to call them. But they're traditional Indian attire. Should traditional Indian attire be allowed in these exclusive clubs that have set the norm according to and set the rules according to themselves, or should private clubs be allowed to be private and their rules allowed to be set by themselves? Tweet into us, write into us, and we'll of course put your views out there. Thanks so much for watching.